Good evening. Let's continue on our journey in Pirkei Avot. Rabbi Elazar Hamudoi says, המחלל הקדשים or הקדשים, he who profanes that which is holy. והמבזה המועדות, and he despises or he embarrasses, to despise. Ve'esav baz is Habachora, ve'Haman baz is Mordechai. Two places in the Torah where the word baz is found. Those are the only two, by the way. Ve'amavazes hamoados, and he despises the holidays. Ve'amalbin b'nei חברו ברבים, and a person who embarrasses his friend or a fellow human being in public. Ve'amefar b'riso shel Avraham Avinu, and a person who nullifies the covenant of Avraham Avinu. Ve'hamegala pnim b'Torah shelo k'Halacha, and a person who interprets the Torah not in accordance with Halacha. Afal pi comes Rav Elazar Hamudoi. Afal pi, even still, she yesh biyado Torah umaisim tovim. That still be. Even though this individual is imbued with Torah and he has good deeds, ein lo chelek le'olam haba. He has no portion in the world to come. A little history concerning Rabbi Elazar Hamudoi. He acquired his name from where he lived, in a so-called moshav, right outside the skirts of Yerushalayim, and it was called Modi'im. As we have today, Modi'in, right outside the outskirts of Yerushalayim. The Gemara tells us in Pesachim, Daf Tzamach Gimel. According to the Medrash Eicha Rabsi, Rabbi Elazar was the uncle of Bar Kochba, and he opposed the Bar Kochba revolt. Upon hearing, when Bar Kochba heard that his uncle Rabbi Elazar Hamudoi opposed him, he pushed him. And Rabbi Elazar Hamudoi fell and he died. At the moment that he died, a baskol, a heavenly voice, came out of the heavens and proclaimed the following: Hoi roi ha'alil, oiz vei hatzon, cherev al zaro, ve'al ayin yamino zroa yivosh teyavesh, ve'ayin yamino chaheh tichaya. It's a pasuk in Zachariah. Oh, woe it is to us, the worthless shepherd who abandons his flock. Let a sword descend upon his arm and his right eye. His own arm shall shrivel up, and his right eye shall go blind. According to the Medrash Eicha, right after this heavenly voice made that proclamation, miyad gormu avonos, immediately the revolt of Bar Kochba suffered tribulations. V'nilkada Beitar, and Beitar was surrounded. V'neherag ben Kuziba, ultimately leading to the death of Bar Kochba. Rabbi Elazar Hamudoi, he lived in a very stormy time, where the Jewish camp was torn between the Sadducees and Pharisees, and outside the camp, Hellenism and Christianity held sway. So comes along the Medrash Shmuel, and that great commentator of commentators on Pirkei Avot, and he delineates and enumerates that the 5 dictums enumerated in this Mishnah correspond to the 5 aspects, the 5 types, and the 5 levels of heresy and apikorsos. Let's go down the line. HaMachal es HaKadoshim, he who profanes the sanctified, or he who profanes korbanos. You could possibly read it, but that's not the general definition. Everything sacred and holy, this man profanes. He relegates everything to the mundane, and in doing so, he rejects God's providence. 1. Number 2, המבזה es המועדות. He despises the calendar. This person believes in the existence of a higher power, but denies God's hand in the course of and in the face of the laws of nature. Moreover, since Moados refers to Jewish time-bound holidays, for instance Shabbos and Yom Tovim, By despising the moados, he denies God's providence. He rejects the notion that the Shabbos and the Yom Tovim are evidence and convey testimony of God's creation of the world and intercession of miracles. Hamevazes hamoados. Number 3. Hamalbin pnei חברו ברבים. A person who embarrasses his friend in public. This individual believes in God. He believes in God's creation of the world. However, he denies that man was created in the image of God, B'Tselem Elokim. Man has no soul. Man is not chelek me'elokai mimal. He's not a portion of God above. Man is nothing but an amalgamation of atoms. There is no schar ve'onish in the world. There's no reward and punishment, and man is no better than the beasts of burden. As such, embarrassing a fellow man, it's nothing. From dust you were born, and to dust you shall return. All we are is dust in the wind. Number 4. Hamefir bריתו shel Abraham. A person who nullifies the covenant of Abraham. This individual contends the Medrash Shmuel. He believes in God. He believes in God's creation, and he believes that man was actually created in the image of God. But he denies the notion that Klal Yisrael is the Am Hashem, that the nation of Israel is the nation of God. He rejects the promise made by God to Avraham and his descendants and denies that Jews in Judaism are the Am HaNivchar, the chosen nation. Like we repeat and we say every single day, Asher b'chabonu mikol ha'amim, that we were chosen amongst all of the nations. And this belief that this individual has, that the Jew is nothing special, is a nullification of the mitzvah of bris milah. Because bris milah, according to Chazal and the Torah, is the ois bris beini ubeinechem. This is the sign between me and you and everybody else. Hamafia bריתו shel Avraham Avinu. A person who nullifies the covenant of Avraham. Number 5. המגלה פנים בתורה שלא כהלכה. A person who interprets the Torah not in accordance with Halacha. This person believes in God. He believes in God's creation. He believes in divine providence. He believes even in Israel as the chosen nation. Nonetheless, he denies Torah Shebal Peh. To all of these individuals, Rabbi Elazar Hamodoi, Da'az, Rabbi Elazar of knowledge, Rabbi Elazar Hamodoi, Rabbi Elazar, the person who makes things known, and Rabbi Elazar Hamodoi Anioimer, the person who knew science, Mada. What does Rabbi Elazar Hamodoi say? None of these individuals have a portion or share in the world to come. Let's analyze briefly 2 of the dictums. Hamafir bריתו shel Avraham, והמגלה פנים בתורה שלא כהלכה. A person who rejects and nullifies the covenant that God made with Avraham Avinu and his descendants, and a person who interprets the Torah not in accordance with halacha. Hamafir bריתו shel Avraham Avinu, a person who nullifies the covenant of Avraham Avinu. What does it mean? And why is the last of all of his sayings, Ein lo chelek le'olam haba? He has no portion in the world to come. The Medrash tells us that Avraham Avinu, the father of the Jewish nation, the first to be circumcised, he sits outside the gates of Gehenna, and there he prevents and advocates on every single individual who comes to Gehenna with the bris milah. And if you have no bris milah, there's the door to hell. Ein lo chelek le'olam haba. If you reject the covenant, there is no place for you in the world to come. B. Hamegala ponim la'Torah shelo kehalacha. a person who interprets the Torah not in accordance with the Torah. The Meiri contends that this refers to people who believe that the mitzvahs of the Torah they're just simply allegories. They're not meant to be observed. Such people believe, for example, that eating pork, or the prohibition to eat pork, or chazer, should not be taken literally, and it's simply a symbolic gesture to avoid vulgar habits. So let's return to Rabbi Elazar's first dictum in this Mishnah. המחלל es הקדשים. So my father gives the following analysis. The role of the Jew is to sanctify life, to instill kedusha, holiness, in all forms of human behavior. As we see in our recitation of brachos, asher kitshanu b'mitzvah, who has sanctified us with his commandments. So my father gives the following motion. The Gemara in Makis Tachav Beis describes as fools people who rise before a Torah but not before a Talmid Chacham. Hani babloi tabshoi dimikami kami sefer Torah v'lo kami kami Talmidei Chachamim. But this statement is slightly perplexing. Of all of our ritual objects used in the performance of mitzvahs, none, compares to the Sefer Torah. Therefore, it is understandable why these Babylonians singled out the Torah for unique deference. So, comes along Rav Shlomo Kluger, and he says, what contributes to the sanctity of a Sefer Torah? Because without the input of a human scribe, Hebrew letters of parchment do not infuse and imbue that piece of paper with kedusha. Only if the kavanos, if the intentions of the scribe are imbued with sanctity, is the process permeated with kedusha. Thus, if a human being can create sanctity in parchment, in paper, a human with the power to crystallize kedusha, he, the man and woman, the human, can create a status of kedusha for himself. The fools, the babloi tifshoi, recognize the power of man to sanctify a scroll of parchment, but do not grasp the ability of man to transform himself into a vehicle of sanctity. What man can give to a piece of paper, to parchment, he can certainly do for himself. Have a good night.